Index card of day number 34, Magic by Creative Katie. Thank you so much if you're already a subscriber. If you're not, here's your chance. Hit the button in the lower right-hand corner and you could be a subscriber too. So I had some pictures of mermaids that was amongst my teacher's stuff that I was getting rid of, and I just saved that piece of paper because I figured, now I can use this in the future. And going through my big blue box of colored papers, I see this paper that I put my leftover sprays in, and then at some point I had stamped on it with that netting kind of stamp. I think it was a crocodile stamp, of background stamp of Yvonne's. Before I decide to glue it down, I decided I wanted a little bit more texture. So I get out my all-time favorite spiral stencil and put modeling paste through the stencil, making sure to clean the stencil if you want to keep it from getting destroyed. So using Mod Podge, I'm putting it right across the card, getting a decent amount in there because the paper now has to soak it into all the nooks and crannies. I love how sometimes these background papers and things that you just randomly put color on and put stamps on find the perfect place to go, perfect place or page to happen. Trim off the excess, saving it for another. Check in the corners. They always seem to need a little extra something. And there's the background. Now I decide that I want to accentuate the spiral texture. So using cut and dry foam, I'm just lightly rubbing silver craft paint across the top. And it does bring it out. You could actually see the spirals. I kind of wish I didn't do that. Sometimes less is more, which won't exactly stop me from adding yet more later on. So I trace the girl onto the deli paper, and then I have to cut it out of the paper in paper piecing. So I'm trying to trace around it. I thought maybe I could get an indentation, and I've seen people use pencil on the back of the thing that they trace out. But Karen, what are you thinking? Blue on blue? Really? It's not going to show. So then I get out my black Stabilo pencil, I try my charcoal pencil, and then I end up getting out my Inktense block. I'm nothing if not persistent. And this gave me enough color so that I could actually see it to cut it out. So I'm adhering the mermaid tail onto my mermaid on the deli paper. I don't know why I had such trouble paper piecing this. I've done my Julie Nutting dolls paper piecing, and I've never had any problems. But today, for whatever reason, I just struggled a little. I'm cutting out the rock and the tail, and I realized that I'm just going to actually piece these together, and that what I really needed to do was retrace the girl, the mermaid, onto paper, onto the deli paper, and glue everything onto that so it's all glued together before I glue it onto the card. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. Sometimes the oddest things just throw you for a loop. After giving that a quick dry, I'm going to get out my Inktense blocks and I'm just going to paint the skin area with the two colors. And then I'm getting out my Dilutions paint in a red and a brown and putting a little bit of both on the palette there, and then I'm just painting the hair. And by having both colors, you kind of get the highlights working for you without actually having to try to do that. I could have edited all the mistakes out of this, but I thought, no, I'm going to show you. Sometimes it just takes a while to get to the end. So I want to put some seaweed, and I have this stencil. It's a Dilution stencil, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to use some acrylic paint with a cut and dry foam and press through and get that. And I really didn't like it, so I wipe it off. And I decide that I'm just going to freehand seaweed. Just thin down the paint just a tidbit, and just adding some free-flowing from above and below. Decide that I'm going to put some iridescent medium on top of the mermaid tail part. It's another thing I wish I did not do because I really liked the colors before, and this kind of muted them. It didn't dry as clearly as I expected it to. That really should be the title of this ICAD. Less is more, or I wish I hadn't done. So I'm adding details to the tail and using my gel pen to put the scales onto the mermaid. You can't really pick that up on camera. Then I decide I'm going to stamp the starfish. This is cupcake liner that I painted with leftover paint. Put everything in place. Putting the starfish right there. Then I decided if I cut out another starfish, I guess I'm not there yet. Good old Stabilo all pencil in blue around the edge. Getting my bubble stencil, and with a mixture of white and iridescent medium, I'm just using cut and dry foam to put some bubbles on. And I'm trying to get smaller portions of it. So we had the textures of the swirls, and we had the design of the paper, and then we had the bubbles. Yeah. More is more. This is a word that I had in my stash, and I just decided instead of doing something on my own, I was just going to put that on. The magic of the ocean. Ripping it, I find when it's ripped, it's a little easier to blend in. And I'm using some pop dots on another starfish to make it look 3D. Gel medium to get the word down. And just to make it shine, I'm putting a little bit of pouring medium on top of the starfish. decide to use the black Stabilo to shade, and then a little bit around the end, just to ground it, make it match the black and the rock. And there's the card. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and joining me in my ICAD journey. See you for the next ICAD. And I hope you come and check out my Facebook group, All Things Mixed Media, Creative Katie. Come and join the creation ship.